Welcome everybody to the Curious is Better podcast. I'm Craig Lamb with Invadim, and today we have Bill Drummer from GPA Logistics. I really appreciate having you on today, Bill, because you got a great story. We've done a lot of, you and I have spoken before. We've done a lot in logistics, but you have a very interesting story how you left New York to go to the West Coast. I'd love to. I want to open with that.
Okay. So I was a partner in a third party logistics company in Edison, New Jersey for 18 years. We serviced all different types of wholesalers and importers. Business was going okay for many years. And after a while, it turned out we started losing customers. And we were losing customers not because of any service levels or any issues. They just kept telling us, you guys are great, but I'm bringing all my stuff in from China and from the Far East. I'm bringing everything into Los Angeles. I got to move my distribution out to Los Angeles. At a certain point, I got the hint. And it meant, okay, I have to move to Los Angeles or the Los Angeles area because that's where the business is. So in 2013, we opened up a branch in the LA area, and then I moved out to LA because that's where the business is, and actually a good move for me from a couple of perspectives. First of all, the weather out here is a lot better, and second of all, my business has grown tremendously since then. I mean, back in Edison, we had about 250,000 square feet, and now since we moved to LA, I'm up to over 2 million square feet of space. So.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a commitment to the business to pack up and move to the West Coast. But there's a lot of New Yorkers out there too. But
Yeah.
yeah, so you went through like incredible growth, and again, you and I have spoken before, and you lean into tech to solve a lot of your problems, right?
Yes.
And yeah, so let's talk about some of the stuff that we spoke about before because I want to elaborate. You were talking about some private GPTs and using some GPT type agents. Can you
Right.
elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. So, tech is, a warehouse management system has always been this nerve center of a business like ours. It drives our business, the data, et cetera. But in the past few years, with all the advances in technology, there's been a lot more opportunity for us. And at the same time, it's a requirement. We really need to do it to catch up to the larger 3PLs who can really invest millions of dollars into technology. And these AI programs have been a real equalizer as far as I'm concerned. I'll give you an example. We ship a lot of B2B. We ship a lot to Walmart and to Target and to Kohl's and to Macy's, et cetera. And if when you ship to those retailers, they're very, very strict on their routing guides and their requirements. And if you don't ship exactly according to the way they're supposed to, they slam you with chargebacks. And keeping track of all the different routing guides is very, very complicated. We signed up for Retailer Hub AI, which is a really great AI program. They ingest all the routing guides from all the different retailers, and they create a chatbot which everyone in our warehouse can use. Anytime you have a question about how do I build a pallet for Macy's, where do I put the label on for Kohl's, it's a simple question that they type into the chatbot, and boom, you get your answer right away. This is what you're required to do based on the routing guide, and it shows you the PDF so you know exactly where the source is. And this has been a game changer for us. I mean, chargebacks have dropped dramatically. Everyone in my staff really feels that they have the information that they need at hand at all times. And it's just one example about how what I think AI and the technology now is a real just equalizer. It's given us so much more opportunity to be compliant the way we're supposed to be.
Bill, I love that you're telling that story as a use case because, I talk to a lot of clients all the time too. It's like, but they're just getting into chat GPT and they're like, oh, I'm writing my emails and I'm doing this and doing that. But do you know that you could use your most critical data and you could create these private GPTs that are answering like these most critical questions using your own data or SOPs from, in your case, like vendors and route guides and things like that. But are you using them anywhere else, or is that the first one you implemented?
No, we're using it in other areas also. We use it also for returns. For instance, there's another software program called the Returns Desk, where again, returns is a pain point for all of our customers. I mean, it's just expensive and it's a pain, and for us, it's always a problem also because it's very labor intensive, and it means we have to charge our customers a lot of money, and that's just a bigger pain point for them. So what we've done with Returns Desk is really nice. We created SOP for every single customer. They tell us exactly how they want us to handle their returns. It prompts our staff step by step what to do with every single return. It records everything. We take pictures of every return. And it gives our customers visibility into every single return that we're handling. And at the same time, for the 3PL perspective, it builds our billing to the customer at the same time. So it's made returns processing so much smoother, so much faster. And again, transparency and visibility for everybody to see exactly what's happening. And we get the product back into stock really, really quickly so it can be sold again.
Yeah. Again, in your world, in the 3PL, there'd be a lot of people that could hear this or see it that are like, I don't believe it because like returns are a big pain, right? I think it causes a mess all over the place. But what about other areas of the business, the logistics inside the warehouse that you have for AI or considering for AI? And before you answer too, one of the things I thought that was most interesting when you and I first spoke is that, which makes you kind of an anomaly, is like you have an internal team too, right? So like when you say you're tech forward, you staff for it, right? So I mean, this is something that you're definitely into. But then I'll go back to my question, but I want to talk about how you staffed up and all those other things. But do you use anything for like pick path or moving
Right.
materials?
Yeah. Yeah, again, for instance, there's a company called Lully. They do a fantastic job. What they do is, until now, a WMS always has been given static rules on on pick paths, what to do. Pick from the front facing pick faces, pick the lower end, lower levels first, et cetera, et cetera. That's static rules, and it's not always applicable. So now what we could do is we could take a wave or a batch and we could feed that into this Lully AI program, and it returns back to us and says, this is the optimal pick path for this particular batch. I got another batch tomorrow with a different configuration. It gives me a different pick path. So every single time we go to pick orders or a wave, it gives us the best way to pick it. It saves on labor. It's extremely efficient. There's no wasted time. Again, that's just another example of how this helps us. And you mentioned our staff. 10 years ago, I had two people on my IT staff, basically hardware and another guy managing the WMS. Today, we're up to 10, which is not great because it means I have to pay 10 people. But at the same time, the return on investment is really there. We have people who are specialists in coding, in EDI and API integrations, cybersecurity, which has become so important these days. Um, we have hardware and networking. You have to have the right hardware. You have to be able to network, and um, and now we've gotten into business intelligence, which is, if you're talking about data. Until now, data has always been something we needed to collect and report. But now, if now we're able to take that data and leverage it, right? We can leverage it to our advantage. First of all, for efficiency in the warehouse, and we feed back that data to our customers for themselves. Also, they can use it for themselves. They can see what's selling, how quickly it's selling, what they should be reordering. This is the type of data that they have access to themselves in certain software programs, but we're able to provide it to them as well.
Yeah, I didn't ask you this, Bill, but what is it about your DNA that makes you like? Because you are an anomaly to a lot of the people, the CEOs I talk to. It's like when you even talk about, and I think it's overt, but when you talk about seeing data now in a different format, where it's like you gather, report on it, and then there's some reaction time, so it's got some there's some dead space before you can make adjustments in your process or staff or whatever. But now you're using it as fuel to create more innovations and more efficiencies in real time. Why you? Like, what's your background that got you like all leaned in?
My best friend when I was a kid started getting into computers when he was 16, and he started showing me what it could do. I was one of the first people to use BitNet back in the early 80s, and I was just amazed at it. And I just seen what it can do and how it opens up so many different worlds for us and so many different advantages for us. My wife calls me a geek. I don't really care. It
I get
works.
I get called worse. Yeah, for
Uh-huh.
sure. Well, so if you were again, I completely appreciate that you're tech forward, and there's less of you than there are in the CEOs that I've talked to in 3PL, 4PL that have to be convinced, right? But what do you see transforming the business being tech forward? You see anything on the horizons? I mean, AI is still brand new and people are ingesting it, but or maybe usage of tools, maybe not something new tech, but new way to use something.
Robotics is what everybody's really hot on right now, and and we've been very, very careful with robotics because
You're talking about
there's a.
autonomous delivery, though, right? Is that what you're
I'm
talking about?
sorry.
Like autonomous delivery?
Autonomous delivery is one. There's goods to person. There's person to goods. There's different versions of robotics, and a lot of them are really cool, but if you really dig down into it, the ROI is not there on a lot of it yet. It's getting there. There are a few companies that are really innovative that have some really nice product out there that I believe is really becoming the point where it's worth looking into. We just reordered a robotic system from a company called Mushiny. We had another one on order from a company called 1M Robotics. Um, and then there's a couple of other ones out there. I really like their software and their hardware, Dexori and Brightpick, really nice stuff. But you really have to dig down into it and see are you getting ROI in it or not, because while it's very accurate, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's faster than humans or actually more efficient than humans. And if you don't utilize it properly, you could really bottleneck yourself. Just a very quick example: when you have a goods to person type of a system, if you don't slot properly, if you don't use AI or technology to slot properly, you're actually going to create a bottleneck for yourself. So robotics is the next big thing. It's definitely worth staying on top of. But it really needs a careful eye to see if it's worth it or not. Oh, and I'm sorry. And then there's the cost factor. It's really expensive. There are companies now are beginning to realize that they have to go to a HaaS model, a hardware as a service model, and that's making it affordable for 3PLs like us. So that's a really great new innovation, so to speak, on that part of it that I think is going to make it affordable and more worthwhile.
I know a little bit about that, but I got to get myself educated because I see that coming up. It comes up in the conversations, and again, for the supplier, the vendor for those hardware tools, I get it, right? It keeps it sticky. They can maintain, they can gather information about their tools. And if you're referring to robotics specifically, it kind of keeps it like within their environment that they can control while still serving their client. It's interesting. Um, what is your in-house team? Because now it's 10. What are they focusing on? Are they building software for you too? Are they integrators? Are they implementers of these tools? Like, do you guys meet as almost like a cadre and nerd out and go, let's check this out, let's check this out, let's check
We
this
have
out?
we have a weekly IT meeting where everyone on the IT staff and me joins the meeting.
Runs.
Everyone has to report what they've done that week and what they're working on that week and what issues that they have. And I found so often that the software team has a particular issue and someone on the hardware team says, wait, I can fix that for you. I can do this and this on the server and suddenly it'll work better for you and vice versa. So the interchange between everyone on the team is so valuable. So we have that 1 hour meeting every single week. And that's where we brainstorm. That's where we come up with solutions. And
Yeah, it sounds like a
it's
scrum meeting.
perfect.
It
I'm
sounds like
sorry?
it sounds like what's called a scrum meeting in agile development. You're
Yeah,
doing
yeah, yeah. There's all the cool terms for agile, scrum, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not that techie that I could tell you how to classify it, but I'm just telling you that it really
understood.
works.
Yeah. So would you have any advice for other leaders in your area that like in your industry, an area that are things that they should consider as far as leaning tech? Because like I always enjoy talking with you too, specifically when we talk. I mean, we talked longer than we scheduled the last time because we were nerding out, but it's not normal. But do you think that there would be a message that comes from you as the CEO, someone in logistics, that you could impart to someone else that might be a CEO of logistics that's maybe a little bit more on the back end of the curve? You know what I mean? Of like the adoption curve.
Well, look, in our industry, there's always price pressure. The margins are not huge. The competition is really fierce. It's really a matter of how efficiently you can produce for your customers. How you got to keep a service level that's really high. You got to keep an inventory a very high level of inventory accuracy. And if you're doing that with basically an unskilled labor force, something has to supplement them. Okay, this labor force, and so our unskilled labor force is supplemented by technology. I have warehouse workers walking around the warehouse holding $1,000, $2,000 pieces of computer equipment that I never thought I would have that, but I do. They are tech savvy enough these days, just from handling phones and TikTok, that they can handle it, and it supplements them and it gives them the ability to perform accurately and correctly. We've eliminated paper from our warehouse. Everything is scanned. I would recommend is you just got to look into the technology, find what's affordable, but you have to stay up to date on it. Otherwise, you definitely fall behind. The old ways of doing things are just not efficient. You can't compete on price.
Right. I agree with everything you said, but I think that there's a nugget in there that I always comes up for me when we're talking about different things. And the CEOs, they won't say it, but they're thinking it. Is like, how do I know that this guy's not full of shit? Right. It's like that. that you're getting the right person and the right product, or I'm being sold something, and you really can't see past implementation, right? And you did that 10 times. You hired engineers, so you clearly developed a method where you could figure out vetting technology hype from technology value and ROI, right? So like, can you elaborate on any, at least your process?
I
Your
I
process.
I involve my IT staff in decision making. I show it to them. I tell them, does it make sense to you? Are they giving me a load of crap over here, or is it true? What do you think of it? How can we test it out in some fashion or not? I'm not saying we're perfect. We've made mistakes. We've bought technology that didn't work out, but you have to know to cut and run as quickly as possible. We did a few years ago try to take on a new warehouse management system. We saw within 2 months that they were not cut out for what we did, and it cost us money. But we cut it loose and we switched to another one. But in general, it's involve your operations and your IT team, because what's interesting is IT guys very often just don't really understand the operations. So if you let them go off on their direction, they're going to write wonderful code that doesn't work in the warehouse. So you have to have you have to have them both in on decision making. And as a CEO, I think what looks good to me, but I step back. I go, what do you think? What do you think? Tell me the pros, tell me the cons, and let's make a decision
So you
together.
really advocate that culture, right?
Definitely.
Like everybody has a say. Everybody gets
Yeah.
a hand in evaluating it. I think that's
If,
amazing.
if we have if we have a group meeting and I say, guys, I want some opinion, and I don't have, and if nobody speaks up, I'm not letting them out of their room until they speak up.
Yeah, those are really good practices. It's very, like, everything you talk about sounds like scrums, right? And sprint meetings and things like that. So you are definitely tech forward. What's next for you? What are you planning on
Well,
doing? I mean, your footprint's huge compared to New York, right? I mean, it's like
yeah.
10 times as.
We're geographically we're a little bit spread out now, which is good. But our business has, over the years transformed, like the business in general, from primarily B2B to a tremendous amount of direct to consumer. We're already shipping over 40,000 direct to consumer orders a day, which is obviously more complicated than what we used to do. We've expanded into co-pack services. We do a lot of display building, the type of displays you see in Costco and Sam's Club, etc. And we're covering all different types of consumer products. We always have challenges. I mean, we started doing a couple of products that require kitting, and the kitting requires serialization and serialization tracking. So we have to track the serial number of every single item in a kit, then the serial number of the kit, then the serial number of the box. So I mean, there's always a new challenge.
Well, listen, I thank you for joining me and talking about this stuff. I'm super impressed with you and the team and everything that you've done. And we're just on the beginnings of AI, so I'm going to check in with you too and see what's, maybe next year or
My
later this
pleasure.
year, we'll find
I'm
out
I'm
what's
happy
going
to
on.
geek out with you guys anytime. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I
Thanks so
appreciate you
much.
having me on. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Everybody, this is Bill Drummer from GPA Logistics. Just one more time. Thank you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.